It's really easy to get in this line of thought. There's some semblance of truth in it, I suppose. Everybody really only cares about themselves. We're all naturally narcissistic in a way, but there's also a lot of false perceptions behind what it means to be a nobody. I used to have major imposter syndrome. I think a huge part of that came from my dad, always telling me that I was just like everybody else. Uh, Not really being supported in my journey, my entrepreneurial endeavors, my dreams. Never really felt supported by my parents, so I think because of that, I subconsciously believed that I wouldn't be where I wanted to be. I wouldn't be able to chase my dreams because I'm just not good enough. I really didn't think I was anything special until I met my advisor, named Graham. And this happened when my grandpa passed away. He passed away from cancer, and I wanted to make some kind of an event to memorialize him. I was at the time streaming a bunch, and I didn't really have anything going for me. I guess. I mean, I was streaming, but it wasn't fulfilling. I wasn't really helping people. So when he passed away, it kind of sparked me to get my shit in order, if you will. So I went on to LinkedIn and was just like, hey, is there anybody that has any connections with like game developers or something? I pretty much kind of showed him some of my creative work, some of my content and stuff, and Graham loved it. I ended up like showing a little bit of a presentation of what I thought the event could look like, and I just remember his reaction. He was like, "How did you get this done so quickly? Nobody ever gets stuff done this fast." Um, and he was like, "Wow, like what you did was really cool." And I was like, for me, I made the video really quickly. I made it in like a couple hours after he asked me to make it. I just thought it was something that I just randomly threw together, and he thought it was really amazing. And I guess from there, like I realized, like, oh, like maybe I do have some sort of talent. Maybe I actually am worth something. I'm not just a content creator or streamer. Like maybe I actually do have some skill behind this. And uh, from there, it was kind of off to the races when it comes to kind of getting rid of that imposter syndrome. Um, I struggled with it heavily still because after that, I became CEO of a startup he was advising for. That was quite the experience. Um, so much so that this like imposter syndrome was kind of hindering so much so to the point where I didn't have any kind of self love. I thought that even though he had helped me become CEO, I still had this. It was more like now I had an even more inflated imposter syndrome because like now I'm a CEO. I haven't gone to college. Like, should I really be here? Is this really for me? And that kind of took a turn for the worse when it came to my self love. In that, like, I stopped putting my mask on first because I was trying to prove myself to myself and also to others, to prove that I was supposed to be a CEO, to prove who I am, I guess. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen that I was living with a AAA game developer named Matthew Nowacki, and he had cancer, and he was also a part of his startup, and he ended up passing away after the 9 months that I was there. And uh, it was a very difficult thing to go through. Just the whole experience was both with living with him, but also just like kind of towards the end of his days, some of the experiences that I went through with him. Um, I might share them one day, uh, but after everything happened, about 2 days later, I was just crying in my bed. I didn't. I had moved out to Austin, Texas, 27 hours away from where I was before, and so I was in a town where I didn't know anybody because Matthew had just passed away, and I hadn't gone out for those 9 months because I was trying to, make things happen for this startup. So when he passed away, I was just like in my bed because I was like, damn, like I don't know anybody here. Am I gonna have to move back home? It was just a very hard moment for me, and we had another meeting lined up to work with this company, and so I just kind of sucked up my emotions, and I was just like, let me just hop on this meeting 2 days later, even though I'm pretty much suffering in every capacity. I was like, I just want to, I want to help, still want to help the startup as much as I can. So I got on this meeting, and it was with a mentor who had been a CEO of a company before. And I kind of told him what had happened. I was like, yeah, my roommate and advisor just passed away 2 days ago. I didn't really want to hop in this meeting, but I just kind of wanted to see what you guys are all about. I don't want to be in my head or anything. And he just kind of, it was really unexpected advice because I went there to talk to him about business. And I kind of went into that meeting being like, okay, hey, we just lost an advisor. What is something that I can do to still help this company get off the ground, even though we just lost somebody? And he was like, first off, we're not going to talk about business during this call. And I was like, okay. He was like, second of all, you need to put your mask on first. You need to love yourself. And I was like, well, I know that sometimes you have to sacrifice your self love and sacrifice your happiness sometimes for others in order to get where you want to be. And he was like, no, you don't have to sacrifice that. That's like the most important part. You shouldn't be working on business when you're going through all of this. You need to put your mask on first, because how can you help others if you can't even help yourself? I don't remember his name, but I remember that conversation, and I remember how it made me feel. And then after I got off that call with him, I started talking to Graham a little bit more, and I was very much learning a lot then. So I was just like, yeah, I was kind of learning a crap ton because I was just really excited to be a CEO, and like there's so much that I didn't know, so I was learning a lot about pretty much every facet of life, just because of so many different ideas and passions kind of came into my mind, so many different ideas. So Graham was like, hey, like I know you're going through a lot, you're really in your head, and I know that you're getting really depressed. So he was like, I want you to get out of your head. Can you look up ley lines? It's like ley lines, like the heck is a ley line? They're pretty much just these energy coordinates that run all across the world, and they kind of link up to places like Stonehenge and like the pyramids and stuff. And it's pretty much just these energy coordinates that link up at places that are technically like they shouldn't be possible. Humans technically couldn't have been able to create such, monuments and whatnot. So um, kind of looking into that, I was like, oh, like I actually didn't think about that. Like, how was the pyramids built? How did Stonehenge like even come to be? And then it kind of led me down a really massive rabbit hole of pretty much spirituality. I found out about like chakras and stuff. I found Abraham Hicks and Sadhguru. Kind of just started seeing all of this like philosophical stuff. That started getting into like energies, frequencies, vibrations, and that's pretty much where I became spiritually awakened. And this is where I really started working on my self love. And now I'm at a point where I have never loved myself as much as I do now. I'm in love with myself. I really think that I am an amazing person. I have a lot to offer to the world. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of purpose. I have a lot of grit. I have a lot of love. A lot of authenticity and light to share with others. It's a gift to know me. It's a gift to be with me. And It's just crazy that I've come this far so quickly, because that was about 2 years ago, everything that happened with Matthew. And I've been really inconsistent in like my career and whatnot. Uh, After him, even before him, I was pretty inconsistent. I was pursuing my streaming and stuff, but job wise, I was really inconsistent. And then it kind of turned into I was being in after Matthew. I was being inconsistent in my dreams, but not in my jobs. So it's like, it's just interesting because sometimes I give myself a lot of crap for being so inconsistent and like jumping around so much to find what makes me happy, to find what makes my soul come alive. But also, that's just me kind of following my intuition, and I think that it's totally okay to um, jump ships or leave certain areas if they don't serve you. I think it's important to follow your intuition, and if your intuition is telling you to leave a certain place, or um, is just telling you like, hey, you should go somewhere else. This doesn't feel right, or this feels amazing. Keep pursuing this even more. Then I follow that. And the past couple of years, I've just been inconsistent, just because I didn't have that self love, and so because I didn't have that self love, because I didn't know myself, I didn't know what to look for. And now that I know myself this heavily, like I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what I want in life. And I guess I just want you to know that even if you feel like you're a nobody sometimes, even if you feel like the world's kind of crumbling all around you, even if it feels like you don't know what you're doing, and it's like life is really sporadic and crazy and sad and inconsistent, you still are entirely worthy, and you're worthy of abundance and love, and you're worthy of being able to experience your wildest dreams, and you can make that happen. We are the creators of our reality, so you are entirely capable and responsible of changing your life, and not just changing your life, but genuinely loving yourself. The only way you can change your life is to change your mind, your heart. If you actually get in tune with your mind and your heart, and you listen to yourself, and you listen to your feelings and your emotions. We're not logical creatures, we're emotional creatures. As much as you would like to convince yourself, especially if you're a man, that you run on logic, the world is the world, science is science, 3D is 3D, it is what it is, that's great and all. But deep down in your heart, that's not what you're saying. You have people that you love, you have experiences that you like to experience. There are certain things that you believe in, and the reason that you have a belief stems from a place of love, it stems from an emotional state. We are emotional creatures. So don't stuff that stuff down inside of you, because it's who you are, and to stuff who you are down, you're just hurting yourself at the end. A lot of people have it backwards, where they think they have to have something in order to do something, in order to be something. I need to have money so I can go on a vacation, so I can be happy. It's actually the other way around. You have to be abundant, be happy right now. Then you can do happy things, loving things that will bring you and give you money, happiness, whatever else. Happiness always comes from within, but you can once you find that inner peace and that happiness within yourself to be able to do the things that you love, more happiness will come from that. Of course, it's not necessarily that more happiness will come from it. It's more that things that you have will just exemplify the happiness you already have, if that makes sense. It'll just amplify it. So you can't have the idea that like, oh, if I have money, I'll be happy. It's like, no, I am really, really happy, and because of that, money is gonna come to me. I am really, really deserving and really, really abundant. So of course people want to help me. Of course people want to give me money. of course money just comes to me. It's not the other way around. So just remember that the majority of your journey, it's gonna be a lot of self-reflection and self-love. And once you get to that point of that inner peace and you find that self-love for yourself, things are gonna start changing. You're gonna start knowing where you're supposed to go. You're gonna start knowing what to follow, what to chase after. You're gonna still be lost here and there. That's just human nature, and it's just life. Things are gonna go crazy, and usually the more lost you are, the more you actually are going in the right direction. But there is a semblance of knowing. It's an intuitive feeling of like, I know I'm going in the right direction, even if I don't really know where I'm going. So I think I want to end it there. I think in the next video I kind of want to talk a little bit about love and how love has impacted my self-love, and kind of like how I go about the world, go about relationships, not just with romantic partners, but with my friends and my family. I think it's going to be, I'll be honest, my love life has directly impacted who I am today. And it's not a very crazy love life, so I'm excited to kind of share my story because, yeah, past just all this business stuff and all of these deaths and just all of this adversity that I've been through to get me to this point, I would argue to say that the biggest reason I am where I am is because of somebody that I met back in 2018. But I'm gonna leave you off on a cliffhanger there because that's quite the story to get into. So I really hope this helped you. I'm trying to get into more content like this where we just sit down, just chilling on my bed, having a fun time, just vibing, just me and you. I want it to be really intimate, and I just want you to know that me and you are the same person. Going through different things, of course, but we're both human, and I'm happy to be here for you and with you. And yeah, so I hope this helped. Just remember, even if you feel like you're a nobody, even if you are a nobody, like I said in the beginning, there is some semblance of truth to it because nobody really cares about anybody else. At the end of the day, we're always thinking about ourselves, which is totally okay. Even though there is a world where mostly nobody thinks about you on a daily basis, just know that you're a somebody, and you're a somebody to yourself. And you should always be a somebody to yourself. Even if you're a nobody to everybody else, be a somebody